In this video we will find out if this small smartphone gimbal can beat the trusty old DJI OM5. Hey, what's up everybody, my name is Julian. I'm the creator of Smartphone Filmmaking Pro, which is the ultimate online course about smartphone filmmaking. And today we will compare two smartphone gimbals, two of the best smartphone gimbals that you can buy at the moment. And to be more specific, we will compare the trusty old DJI OM5. This is probably the most well-known smartphone gimbal as of right now. And we will compare it to this gimbal. This is the Hohem iSteady V2, which is probably not as popular. And we will see if this small gimbal, because as you can see this is just super tiny, super lightweight, we will see if this is on par with the trusty old OM5. I have divided this comparison into 6 different categories, and the winner of each category will get a point. And at the end of the video I will give you a conclusion and my personal thoughts on which of these gimbals you should get. But now let's start with the first category, and that is the price and the packaging content. The DJI OM5 comes in at around about $150, and for that you get the gimbal itself, you get this little table tripod, you get a magnetic clamp, and also a carrying pouch that I, to be honest, never really use. That's what you get. It's on the pricier side when it comes to smartphone gimbals, but of course there are also more expensive options. But that's that. And on the other hand, we have the Hohem iSteady V2, which comes in at around about $100. Sometimes you can get it cheaper, sometimes it's a little more expensive, but around about $100. And for that, you get the gimbal itself, you get a tiny table tripod, you get a light, which is directly built into the gimbal, and you also get pretty much the same carrying case. And something that I forgot to mention, with both of them you also get a USB to USB Type-C cable. So when it comes to the packaging content, both of them are pretty much identical, but the iSteady V2 is much cheaper, so the first point goes to the Hohem iSteady V2. The second category that I have for you is the weight of the gimbal itself and the payload. Something that is very important with smartphone gimbals is they have to be small and lightweight, because the more you take it with you, the more shots you're going to get, and the better your videos are going to be. So if you have a big heavy setup, that might deliver a little better quality shots, but of course it's much bigger and you are more unlikely to take it with you on the go. The DJI OM5 weighs 290 grams and its maximum payload is also around about 290 grams. So that means on paper you can use it with an iPhone 13 Pro, which is on there right now. If you're not using any add-ons, this handles it no problem at all. And you can also use bigger phones like the iPhone 13 Pro Max, for example. But again, if you're trying to also use add-ons, I would not use this because it just gets wobbly and it's not happy with that. On the other hand, the Hohem iSteady V2 is a little lighter. This only weighs 260 grams and it can also handle the same 290 grams maximum. I've tested both of them with my iPhone 13 Pro, and like I said, with no add-ons, it's no problem at all. They can also handle it with, an add-on lens, for example, but both of them are not really happy with that. But like I said at the beginning, the lighter a gimbal is and the smaller you can fold it down, the more likely you are to take it with you on the go. So I will give this point to the Hohem. The third category that I have for you is the balancing process. So how easy is it to get them, into this situation where you can actually use them? The DJI OM5 has its huge party trick where it has this magnetic clamp. You just attach this onto the smartphone. I can just show you very quickly. So basically you just attach this onto the smartphone, then you align the dots, you turn it on, and that is basically it. On one hand, this is a benefit because you do not really have to balance it unless your smartphone is like not super heavy, but it's also the downside when you are using a heavier setup. You're basically very, very limited when it comes to the balancing. So with light setups, it's no problem, it's awesome, it's very user-friendly, but with heavier setups, you are very limited. On the other hand, the iSteady V2 does not have a magnetic clamp, but it still has this clamp which you can just spread and put in your phone. It gives you a little more options to balance your phone, but also not too many. You can slide it up and down and also to the left and to the right. And of course, the goal with any gimbal is that it should stay in its position without falling over. So I will give this point to the DJI OM5 because I think with the magnetic clamp, they made many things very right. The next category that I have for you is overall the smoothness of the shots that you can get. I think this is the most important category of any smartphone gimbal comparison, is like how smooth are the shots that you can get with any of these gimbals. And the cool part is that we live in 2022 and it doesn't really matter like what smartphone gimbal you're using on this date. These days pretty much all of them deliver some very smooth and very good results. I have tested both of them side by side with pretty much the same phone. I was using the OM5 with the iPhone 13 Pro and the iSteady V2 with the iPhone 13 mini, so the quality should be pretty much identical. And I was holding both of them, you know, either gimbal in one hand. I was shooting the same shots, and to be honest, I could not tell a difference like this shot is better than the other. So what I think what is even way more important than like what gimbal you're using is like how good are your skills. Do you know like what frame rates you're using? Do you know how to frame shots and so on? These things are way more important than like picking this gimbal over this or vice versa. And this is exactly why we have created Smartphone Filmmaking Pro, which is the ultimate online course about smartphone filmmaking. In case you want to step up your smartphone videos to the next level, just click the first link below that like button. That will bring you to our totally free webinar where I share the top 5 secrets to shooting professional looking videos with your smartphone. So in case you're interested, just check it out. But to get back to the comparison, I will call this category a draw because both of them deliver absolutely amazing and absolutely smooth shots. So this category is a draw. The next category that I have for you is the tracking capabilities. And I know that for many of you out there, this is a very important topic because you're using it for some Facebook Live events. And I don't know, I know that many people just love these tracking features. And with the DJI OM5, you have this Active Track 4.0. To be able to use this, you have to go into the DJI Memo app and then you just, you know, draw a circle around any object that you want to track and it basically tracks it. It works pretty good. Downside is you always have to use the DJI Memo app, which I do not like at all because you will lose quality. And the very cool part, and I think the USP itself of the Hohem iSteady V2 is that at the top here, you do have an AI sensor, and with that you can track anything that you want, and it does not matter at all in which app you are currently in. There are several different gestures, so you can do like this or this, and then it will start or stop tracking you. And like I said, it does not matter in which app you're currently in, it will always track you. And I think for many of you, this is one of the most important features. And I have tried it a lot and it works really good. It also works good if the distance is a little further away, which the OM5 tends to struggle a little more, but the Hohem iSteady does that really nice. So I will give this point to the iSteady V2. And the last category that I have for you is gonna be a very quick one, and that is the LED light. It's pretty easy because the OM5 just simply does not have an LED light, and the Hohem iSteady V2 has one at the top here. It has 3 different strengths, so it can go from very dimmed to pretty bright, and whenever you're filming yourself, whenever you're tracking yourself for a live stream or something like this will come very much in handy. But there you have it, guys. This is the comparison of the OM5 versus the Hohem iSteady V2. So what is my conclusion? Like I said before, these days in 2022, you can't really go wrong with any of the smartphone gimbals. As long as you know what you're doing, you're gonna get pretty amazing results with either of them. For me personally, I have to admit that I'm not a big fan of the DJI OM5. This year they have added this extension pole to, you know, theoretically get some more creative shots and so on. And it does work, it's kind of nice. But I feel like overall the build quality and the steadiness and overall the way how it feels just got worse compared to its predecessor. And that's just something that for me personally, I'm not a big fan of. The Hohem iSteady V2, I really like that because it's just very small. You can fold it down, like I said, very tiny, so you can bring it with you basically everywhere. The results that you're getting are pretty much on par with all the other smartphone gimbal options that you have at the moment. And like I said, the tracking feature is basically this is the only one that has it. So in the end, you have to decide for yourself which of these things are most important to you personally, and then like I said, you pretty much can't go wrong with either of them. But that's basically it for this video. In case you have not subscribed to the channel yet, make sure to do so. It is helping out the channel a lot. And in case you want to learn more, click the link below. This will bring you to our free webinar, and you will definitely be a better smartphone filmmaker after you have taken this class. But that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one.